Can speaking Japanese make you sound a little too polite?
Ooh.
Maybe you just want to be friendly. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Hey everyone, welcome back to another, should I call you San, Kun, Chan, which one? Episode. We're the hosts. My name is MJ.
My name is Adam.
Thank you for coming back to another fantastic episode. We invite you to become our third wheel, our third friend in this English conversation, listening to what me and Adam say, naturally using natural words, phrases that we use every day, not like a textbook kind of thing. So you'll also be able to understand the feeling of English, because that is something that can't really be taught in a classroom.
That's right.
For today's topic, everyone, we're going to be reading an article from the Sora News 24. Wonderful, wonderful publication you can find online. We are going to be figuring out if banning nicknames in Japan is a good or bad thing. So here's this one that caught my eye. It's talking about in Japanese schools and the banning of nicknames, in particular, kun or chan. And it's saying that it wants to possibly mandate the use of san instead. Proper manners or forcing kids to be too polite is the subheadline. Here we go. San is often thought as a Japanese version of Mr. or Miss. A difference, though, is that san can also be used with a person's given name for their first name, right? Okay. So, for example, if someone is talking with Yoshio Yamada, they might call him Yamada-san,
right? Or
they might call him Yoshio-san, or they might call him Yoshio with no san at all. Or maybe he's got a nickname like Yoshi, so many different ones.
Yo-chan.
Okay, but in certain, Yo-chan, what's up? In certain elementary schools, it continues in Japan, plain Yoshio and Yoshi wouldn't be options because some Japanese schools prohibit students from calling each other by nicknames or dropping the san. Okay, so I was a little misinformed. I thought it was talking about kun and chan, but they're talking a little bit different. You can't use this yosan or just even the first name.
Yo-chan. Okay.
It continues. They aren't any official statistics about how widespread rules are right now, but one Tokyo public elementary school principal speaking with the Yomiuri Shimbun says he thinks it's becoming a more common rule at schools in the city. It says that the school Tokyo Kasai's elementary school, for example, has its teachers instructing students to use san when talking with their friends. If you foster a sense of respect for the person you're talking to from a young age, they won't take actions that hurt others, says the 6-year-old principal. I mean, people can hurt plenty of other people just no matter if you're being spoken to politely or not, talking to you like, I don't know. Advocates of having even children call each other with san tend to feel that way for two reasons. First, dropping the san when speaking with someone, a practice called yobiste, can be interpreted in multiple ways. In a positive sense, it can be seen as a sign there is no need to stand on stuffy ceremony, and it's not at all uncommon for especially close friends in Japan to yobiste each other, meaning to use nicknames.
Right.
But on the other hand, since san is fundamentally a polite form to address others, dropping it can seem as a sign that the person isn't worthy of respect, especially in the people in the conversation that aren't close, right? So two strangers talking to each other, you don't use the word san, then that means you're kind of looking down upon them. Could be, that this kind of feels like it just goes to like the history of the words that Japan has. There's a rich history and stuff connecting with it. And you're supposed to use san in all these different occasions when you don't know somebody. So you feel like, hey, we're on the same level.
Right.
But it's like, that's a very interesting difference with like, if we go to the Western culture, and of course, we're not pushing Western culture at all on anybody, but just from the Western perspective of using the san, using Mr. Mrs. is very polite, but in some instances, I think most not all, but a lot of instances, you want to be friendly towards strangers or each other to say like, hey, open arms. Like, let's be friends.
Right.
So it is common to maybe start off, maybe using Mr. and Mrs., but there's a lot of people who like right away, if they're called that, be like, oh, hey, it's cool. Call me MJ.
Yeah. What am I, 90?
Yeah.
Call me MJ.
Whoa. Mr. Turtle is my father, Yeah.
I'm MJ.
Yeah. So it's a very, very big difference. And it's one that is interesting to really see a big discussion happening within the school system, because this is when kids are being taught. The teachers are pretty much telling them you should or shouldn't do these things. And that's when it's going to show influence to the kids and their brains and their way of thinking as they become adults. Okay.
Yeah. I think it also goes to the generations trying to preserve something. And I feel like maybe they're watching younger people, not everybody, but a lot of young people changing the way the language is used, or, the internet generations, we are taking the ways we speak online into reality. So maybe, the people in charge of these schools don't want the students to start losing the essence of Japanese language, which, of course, like you said, historically has been a certain way for a long time. Yeah. So I feel like it's kind of like a preservation situation as well, where if they start calling each other by their, nicknames all the time, what's next? They're going to start just using the first name, and then things are going to change even more, and who knows? But of course, the sign of respect is there. But like for me, I feel like, it might be too formal for kids in elementary school.
To force them to pretty much say, you got to always use san.
Right.
All right. It continues. Another issue is that, at least among the educators who spoke with the newspaper in favor of this new rule of using san, there doesn't seem to be a clear distinction between ordinary nicknames and derogatory ones, ones that aren't nice. Okay. Somebody says many nicknames that are based on a person's physical appearance may, or a mistake they made are insulting.
Yes. I agree with that.
Oh my gosh. I'm just recalling in my middle school. There was this one kid we just called Head because he had a big head. Sad.
It is sad.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. But it does happen. And that could be another thing they're trying to prevent from happening. But kids are clever. They'll find other ways to, poke fun at somebody and push buttons and bully if this is an attempt to stop bullying. Like,
could it turn into even a deeper, more hidden way for bullying? Like, watch, like this kind of things happen where, we don't tolerate any bullying in schools. And of course, everyone what likes bullies, but like, we did it. Our forefathers have done it. The kids of the future are going to be doing it. Kids are vicious animals to one another. All right. And it's so almost impossible to get around this bullying, where it could be, I don't know, like tough love. They kind of got to build a little bit of a thick skin to be able to take some of these things to make them a stronger person, possibly. Because who knows, just thinking about it, if you're to get rid of these things where, you can't say these things, watch, social media, SNS bullying going up. In the later years, because
or after school bullying or outside of school bullying.
Those could be affected as well in negative terms, because who knows, man? Oh my gosh. But okay, that's a tough one. Somebody else says, we don't believe that rules for how students should address each other will completely stamp out bullying. Like we were saying. But we do believe it's a component of deterrent measures. So it's going to kind of like stop it. Okay. However, some believe that forbidding yobitsute and nicknames entirely negatively limits their ability to establish their own communication norms with their peers, friend to friend. And that's pretty much how it's been happening right now. So it's like, why would this rule have to happen now? Because we can be friendly or call friends by their nicknames if they're, not derogatory.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
One person says, by prohibiting nicknames, I worry that they might be making it difficult for children to communicate smoothly and openly with one another. It's like, I think it's okay because there's already a lack of that, I feel like, especially from all of the Western friends that I've seen come and go within Japan and have a relationship with Japanese people and stuff. Or even talking with some Japanese people and them saying like, wow, I envy like Westerners because you're so open or something, right?
Yeah.
Of course, this isn't everyone, but these are things that I've heard people say.
Right.
A bunch of people on Twitter, of course, voice their opinions because on Twitter, that's where anything flies.
Yeah, it's like the
Get
opinion.
It? See what I did there?
Oh, tweet.
Such a dumb idea. Somebody says, what's next? Please call your classmate by their student ID number. Another person says, instead of stopping kids from using nicknames, how about if we stop them from bullying? Like, okay, not an easy thing.
Right.
There are kids who feel embarrassed because their parents give them a weird, flashy name. Ooh. But with this rule, they can't ask their friends to call them by their nickname instead.
Right.
So they have to use the weird, flashy name. There are people whose nicknames help them create an outgoing persona and make friends. And there are people who get saddened with a hurtful nickname they don't like. It's pretty complicated, right?
It is complicated.
There's those good nicknames that people have. You know?
Right.
So it seems like it's a tough thing, depending on the situation, depending on the types of people, depending maybe even in the region of where these Japanese schools are, because there's a lot of talk about the Tohoku area, people being more shy and reluctant about things. Maybe Kansai people are more outgoing. That's where the comedians come from and stuff. So there could have a hand in it too. But who knows what's the best thing? Adam, you have any final 2 cents?
I just was wondering, because there's a lot of people with similar last names like Tanaka, Suzuki. In those situations, how are they going to distinguish? Like, they'll have to go full name, right? Does that mean they go full name for the whole class? It gets a little taxing, hard.
That could be a little tough, but hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Let us know your opinions, everyone, on what you feel about this very interesting topic, talking about our youth in Japan in the comments down below. But that's it for this one. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We got more conversations, natural English ones from me and Adam all the time.
Yeah, but that's it. We'll see you
on the next step.